Hey, how's everybody doing? Like I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do after. Right now, I'm just trying to get this one hardcore character up to level 70. Now the season's over. I might do that with the other. I think I got a couple others that are not, but right now we're at 47. But I want to get this leveled up to 70, and then after that, I might play. I got to look at the stuff I have. I might play a different game every day. I don't know, but I might play Grand Theft Auto. I haven't played that in a while, and I was playing it the other day, and it might be that I'm just not good to play it anymore. But I was playing it the other day, and I got killed by the cops. I used to be able to get away from them, really, but I got killed by the cops a couple times. I'm just gonna kind of babble and talk about whatever. I have no idea what the subject's gonna be. Hopefully it'll be on UFO. Okay, this stream might be over.
I need more hatred to do that. My hatred is too low.
A well-deserved death.
I don't know if it's any good. My brother likes it. I haven't really watched it. It's called The Dead Files. I got that. It's on the Travel Channel if you want to watch it.
Not enough hatred.
Oh, this is news. I don't know how valuable you'll find it, but Mitt Romney, the senator from Utah, has said he's not running for re-election after this term. And another thing is, it came out, Matt Gaetz, who, I'm sorry, long story, but he went and really embarrassed himself, his party, and the speaker the other day because he went out there and treated the Speaker of the House. You know, okay, granted, McCarthy's a piece of shit, I get that. But he treated the Speaker of the House, the third in line or second in line to be present, treated him like an indentured servant. there and said that we had an agreement. That's how you got in, and you need to come into compliance with it, or we'll remove you. And the sad thing is, any agreement, any side agreement that they might have had with him, they need to make it public. You know, I
must wait longer.
And it's entirely. Because, you know, he's been asked multiple times then and now, you know, to release that information, and Matt Gaetz is always playing these cute games. He you know, he admits that he's got a copy because he's like, well, you know, the guy's like, well, is it in writing or was this a verbal? He goes, no, it's in writing. Well, it wasn't signed by a court. You know, it's not enforceable. And he was asked to fucking release it, and he just made a comment that, oh, well, you know, so-and-so's got my, well, then you can tell him to release. Well, if he wants to, that's it. He's just playing a little fucking, well, no, it's your copy. You can, well, I don't have it, you know. There were these, there was this case, YouTube had it, there was this case where, there was this sheriff, and I think it was up in Arizona. It was in the Arizona area. If it wasn't that state, it was one of the neighboring states. It might have been New Mexico. But there was this county sheriff that constantly kept interfering in cases involving one of his buddies who was in the, you know, in the, like the state legislature somewhere. And he was showing up drunk to crime scenes or standoffs, and he started trying to order the police around like they worked for him. And the one time, she was only like a sergeant, and I'm not kidding you, that girl, if she's got any common sense, they need to get her to run. I don't know if she's a Republican or Democrat, but they need to get her to run for like the U.S. Congress, because she had balls. And the Democrats could use some, and the Republicans could use some. Because like he went and he's like, well, you know, and she goes, look, I'm not going to do what you're asking. He goes, I'm not asking, I'm the sheriff. And she goes, yeah, you just stay right here. And then I think she told her people, I might be wrong on this, but I think she told her people, if he crosses that line, arrest him, throw him in a squad car. And she went back, and there was somebody that had heard it, and he came up to talk to her. He goes, did you smell his breath? And the guy goes, yeah, I was going to ask you the same thing. He clearly showed up drunk as shit to an active scene, started trying to basically, you know, overturn their shit.
It is too low.
And, well, eventually they had enough on him to get a court order for his phones.
Not be opened yet. Not enough hate.
And when they showed up, and it was like little fucking games. You know, he showed up, and then he basically, right in front of the cops, I mean, there was just nothing clandestine about it. He gave his phone over to the undersheriff. And he said that he wasn't going to turn anything over until he had talked to his lawyer. And the guy, he was, I think he was the acting police chief. He wasn't officially the police chief, but he was basically in charge. But I'm not sure about that, but I think that's what they referred to him as. Either that or the old police chief was still there and he hadn't quite taken over yet, but he was going to be the acting, or he was the acting police chief, I think. And the sheriff didn't like him. And he told him, he goes, look, I came here with just a couple people. I'm trying to do this low-key. He goes, you know how this works. When we've got a court order, you don't get to fucking refuse until you talk to your lawyer. He goes, how would you handle it if a criminal did that to you? He goes, I'm not saying it, but he goes, we got a court order. You have to comply. How do you think? And basically, somebody showed up that seemed to be higher than him. And he told him what was going on. And the guy in
My
question said,
hatred is
well,
too
he goes,
low.
if you want to lock this place down and take it a step further, because you got my full support. And so that's what they did. He basically called in every active unit. I think they started calling people in that were off duty. And the under sheriff, that the sheriff is just like, well, you can search me if you want. You got a warrant to search me, right? You can search me because your under sheriff has got it. And he and then but he was just playing. It was like Matt Gaetz is like, well, I don't literally have it. It's my copy, but I don't physically have it. I gave it to someone else, so it just doesn't do you any good to ask me. It's like, I'm sorry, but this fucking kitty shit that they got going on is gotta end. It's just absolutely gotta end.
Need more time.
And then that sheriff and the undersheriff, they well, first of all, the sheriff tried to flee. I think that was the one where he tried to flee, and they had to go basically jump him at his truck to get him to quit driving away. And the undersheriff still had his stuff. He decided, oh, I'm gonna go hide in my office, just playing little fucking games. And finally, they go, what are you going to do? And he goes, we're going to lock the place down, because the cop car started showing up. And I think he told his cops, you couldn't really hear it too clearly, but I think he might have told his cops, because they called in their sheriffs. They called the sheriffs in that were not there, off duty, etc. They called them in for backup, and they told them, they said, look, I need everybody to be cool. I think it was something along these lines, because he let people know. I'm kind of breaking it down. I think it was kind of code, but he let his people know, you guys are going to have to be cool. But if they make it to where you have to use force, listen to your sergeants. Don't wait around for me. And the undersheriff he's like, you really going to do this? He goes, no, you're doing this. He goes, this isn't me, this is you guys. He goes, I tried to be decent, and you guys just want to play these games. He goes, I'm done. He goes, I've talked to my superiors. I am done. And then they ended up giving him the phone. Well, then, it was an ongoing thing. Well, they finally... And because he had more than one phone, so they had to come and get his other phone. I think they got the phone from the elected official, the legislator, and they found that there were texts from that sheriff from a phone that they didn't have. So they got a search warrant for that. Well, then when they got him, they told him, they go, well, you have to unlock. I'm not unlocking it until I talk to my lawyer. The search warrant says you have to unlock it. We got permission to search the phone. And he's like, well, I'm not. And they go, lock him up. They put him in handcuffs, and they basically arrested him.
My hatred is too
and
low.
You really got to wonder, when you look at Matt Gaetz, somebody made a comment, and they were talking about the state of shit going on. And I commented on it on my Threads app that, they really, they need to basically do what that person was talking about. About holding people accountable. They're talking about Hunter Biden. And they made a comment about Hunter Biden and like what's going on with him, and I go, well, yeah, they need to do that, because they wanted to know why, with all the shit going on with Hunter Biden, it took me a minute to remember. They wanted to know why with all the shit going on with Hunter Biden, we weren't seeing Ivanka and Jared investigated for the stick, because he's a citizen. Hunter Biden's never been in office. And they wanted to know why Ivanka and Jared weren't being investigated like Hunter was. And I go, well, yeah. And I go, the other thing you really need to ask is why the other family members, Jared and Ivanka, they were in office. But, if Hunter's going to be brought in like this, Why aren't they bringing in Mitch McConnell's wife for the criminal referral she had when she was the Secretary of State? Is that because, or Secretary of Transportation, is that because she's Mitch McConnell's wife? You know, if they're going to have this shit on Hunter, then, you know, they need to find out why, you know, McConnell's wife isn't being investigated and brought up on charges. How come Joe Manchin's wife and daughter aren't being brought up on charges for price-fixing drugs? And it's the same scandal, but they've got emails from his daughter talking to someone from a rival company, talking about how, you know, she'll basically pay him if he keeps his, she'll basically pay him if he keeps his,
not enough hatred.
If he'll keep his, his generic alternative, I think it's the EpiPen. And there was something his wife was doing to, Jesus Christ.
Not ready yet.
But you know, he had this generic, and they were trying to price fix it. She basically offered him a bribe, and I'm like, you know, what the fuck? I mean, seriously, I don't get what these people are doing. And when you look at what McCarthy's doing now, where he, you know, there's a record of him where he basically said that Nancy Pelosi could not bring articles of impeachment without a full vote. And he's trying to rewrite history and claim that she did. Well, she didn't bring articles of impeachment without a floor vote. What she did is she had certain committees work up the evidence and the facts and the reality of Trump's crimes, and then they voted on those facts. They voted on that evidence to, you know, power the impeachment. So she had a vote before they went to articles of impeachment. She just didn't, you know, basically do a dictator's fiat of it. And he's rewriting history on that. And I'm sorry, but everybody, you know, every loyal American needs to. I'm sorry, they need to speak out about this. What he's doing, if you listen to him, it's the same thing that Clinton Cash guy did, where he wrote all this shit in a book. And then when he was asked by, I believe, Andrea Mitchell, like weeks later, everybody else ran with it. Oh my God, Hillary did this, Hillary did that. And Andrea Mitchell waited. And she had her people research it. And then she brought the guy on a couple weeks later. And this is pretty much what ended this guy, you know, going on TV. It was the bitch slap heard around the world. And she brought him on, and she goes, look, my people have been researching your book for the last couple of weeks, and we can't find any evidence of this. She goes, we can't find any evidence of what Hillary did wrong. I don't know what happened. I'm supposed to kill Gruel, and there's no arrow telling me where to go. I might end this stream. I'll go a little bit more, I guess. But she goes, you know, we haven't been able to find any evidence of the stuff you said. And he goes, oh, I don't have any evidence. Well, I don't know how, you know, again, Hillary never sued him. But I don't know how that doesn't rise to the level of liable. I don't. I don't get that. I literally don't get that. And because he was stating everything like it was a certainty. And
My hatred is too low.
and then, that pretty much ended the interview, and then it kind of went around. Everybody else had quit having this guy on. You didn't hear about his book being in the bestsellers list anymore. He kind of dropped off. Well, speaking of McCarthy, I wonder if he's any relation to Joe McCarthy. The way he's acting, I really wonder if he is. But he basically was sounding like that guy. He's like, oh, well, we're going to have the impeachment inquiry, and then maybe we'll find some facts. And that's not the way it's supposed to work. You should have some evidence now. And there's no evidence on Joe Biden at all. There's no evidence on the president. And that, like with Trump, Jesus Christ, the Office of Legal Counsel, if they hadn't basically obstructed justice and you could have put Trump on trial, we're seeing it now. All these legal experts are looking at what they got on Trump. It's just overwhelming evidence, and that's what they had even on that first impeachment. They had overwhelming evidence. Like the Republicans always like to talk about our founding fathers. Our founding fathers never envisioned loyal Americans that were entrusted, with the highest offices in the land would ever support somebody that's a seditionist, that's a traitor. They just never envisioned it. They never envisioned, I don't think they ever seriously envisioned that somebody like that would ever hold office, even at a low level, let alone the president. But they put those impeachments in there just in case. And they left it the way it was because they firmly believed that enough people in office would put their country above any political party or exploitation or whatever. And man, were they fucking wrong. But he did. He's like, oh, we don't have any evidence. Even that Comer guy is like, well, yeah, there's a lot of smoke, but we haven't actually found any fire yet. The one witness, now you take a look at Trump in the trials. Pretty much every witness against him is Republicans. His lawyers at the White House counsel's office, and some of his actual lawyers that he hired after he got, these are his witnesses. What they have as a witness against Joe Biden is one Russian oligarch or spy or something who's wanted for like arms trafficking. And I don't know for sure, but maybe human trafficking, drug, but he definitely wanted for arms trafficking and spying. And yeah, their witness can't come forward because he's basically hiding out from the FBI so he doesn't get arrested and thrown in fucking jail. I mean, you literally, the shit that's going on with the Republican Party right now, as corrupt as it is, if you were someone that was writing a story and you wanted somebody to make it into a movie, even though it was like a fantasy thing like Marvel does or whatever, if you wrote up what's really going on with the Republican Party, DeSantis attacking Disney, some dipshit holding up military promotions because he's a fucking religious nut, harming our national security, harming our military integrity. If you tried to pitch that to anybody, I mean, even like the shitty studio, okay, maybe there's some, but if you tried to pitch that to a major studio like Apple, Prime, Netflix, HBO, the big studios, they'd all throw it back to you. Go, yeah, this is just not realistic. Nobody's gonna be this fucking stupid. These characters are unreal, and they'd make you rewrite it because they would honestly say there's no way anybody's gonna believe this shit is real. I don't know. And then Chuck Schumer, him and another, you know, and I do appreciate Joe being honest about it, because they came on to talk about, it was bipartisan. They had Chuck Schumer and they had a Republican, and they came on and they were talking about what they're going to do. They want to get some experts together. But they had a meeting with some of the top tech people in the country, and they asked them, you know, should the government weigh in and put some restrictions on developing AI? I guess every one of them said yes, you should. But the problem is, you guys don't know anything about it. You really need to bring in experts, and that's not us. You know, it wasn't like Elon Musk and so, well, yeah, you got to talk to me. They were all saying, you know, you got to bring in some people that really understand this, and it needs to be done right. But they said that, you know, AI could end up being a very dangerous thing if not done correctly. They definitely all come to worry about some of the stuff that's going on, and it sounds like they're clamping down on it because they've had some stuff that I guess just really scared them. And what we got here? Ooh, yes.
Just the thing.
And well, then he asked him about these these promotions that are being held up in the military, and the guy that was on there, both of them were wrong. The Republican, Schumer, and the other guy, and I can't think of that other guy's name. Both of them were wrong because he was very diplomatic, and somebody even admitted that, you know, really of the two, Schumer was probably more wrong. Because he said, look, if you're honestly negotiating with someone and you're trying to get them to come to reason, the Republican that was on there was maybe doing the right thing, where you weren't throwing them under the bus, you were being a little diplomatic about it, trying to get them to, you know, so you don't piss them off and get them to pull back from the negotiations. Where Schumer's just like, well, hey, it's wrong. So and so said it's wrong, and I'm glad he did that. I don't blame him for that. Because on some level, and I think that guy was a little wrong for calling it out. Like, well, if you're negotiating, I'm sorry, there should be no negotiating. You know, there shouldn't be any negotiating on whether slavery was wrong. There shouldn't be any negotiating on whether Hitler was a bad guy. I don't give a fuck if he liked his dog or not. Hitler was a bad guy. Slavery was wrong. Fucking with women's health care is wrong. These are not debatable issues. They're just not. You know, the fact that 8 is a bigger number than 4, the fact that climate change is real, the fact that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, these are not debatable things. They're facts. And, you know, when you look at the damage that is being done, this isn't something that should be debated. They should be taking, you know, the Republicans should be taking strong action. They should be talking about removing him from committee chairs. They should have already done that before. They should have just basically taken him off of every fucking committee he's on, and then tell him you got 3 days. You know, if you're going to be off your committees for the rest of the rest of your term until after your election. But if you don't have this fixed in 3 days, we're going to have a vote to remove you from Congress. We're going to throw you the fuck out. Understand, this is what it's going to, if the voters send you back, we're going to throw you the fuck back out again the next time you do something. We're not going to fuck around anymore. You know, they should be throwing his ass out. And tell them, you know, we'll have every Democrat in here voting against you. We just got to come up, and we're probably going to have an overwhelming number, but we're going to come up with at least 10 or 15 people to throw your fucking ass to the curb. This is over. Stop it. This isn't a request. This isn't a debate. This is what's going to happen. we're done. And since they're not doing that, and this, I gotta give Joe's a Republican, a former Republican, I gotta give him credit. He asked Senator Schumer, well, okay, because what it is, they normally do these in a batch. So what they'll do is they'll bring up like either all of them, or they'll bring up all the senior officers and all the colonels. I don't know which way they do it. What they do is bring up a batch, and they're given all the information, and then basically they get lazy. They don't work anymore. I was talking about this the other day. They don't work anymore. So then they just fucking wave a magic wand and boom, everybody's promoted, or everyone in this group's promoted. Everyone in this group's promoted. Bang, bang, bang. And now we can go fucking short sale some stocks, and we can fucking sell ourselves out to lobbyists and everything else they do in the Senate. Well, my understanding, and Joe kind of brought it up, it was his understanding, that they can still bring them up individually. So he goes, why don't you bring up the Marine Corps Commandant and promote him? Bring just one up. He can't block that, right? And he's, well, yeah, he can't block that, but we believe in the military, don't leave anybody behind, because he goes, if we vote him in, then he's going to be like, we'll vote in the next one. Good, do it. Do it. Sit there, do like 3 hours of fucking Senate work every day, Monday through Friday, and then 24 hours a day, you spend the rest of your day, you work from like 9 in the morning till 10, 11 o'clock at night, take your lunch off, take your supper off, and you have a few breaks here and there, but you do this every day. And you tell the Republicans, hey, until you handle that fucking un-American piece of shit in your caucus, this is the way it's going to be. The American people, by and large, I think would love seeing it. I really do. I think they'd love to see these guys fucking just stomping on this shit. Instead of just going, oh, no, nothing we can do. We can't leave anybody behind. Yeah, this is why Democrats, if Democrats had the fucking guts, if they had their integrity and they had the Republican guts, I think you'd see the Democratic majorities nationwide like you did back in right after Watergate. I sincerely believe that. There was like 30 years where Democrats were pretty much running things, because after Watergate, people wanted an end to the corruption. They wanted people to come in and not break the law. They wanted to enforce it. They wanted to do stuff for us. But I'm not kidding you. Just the other day, there was something on there. They were talking that Lauren Boebert, the Republican representative from Dumbfuck America or whatever, and she got thrown out of, I thought it was West Side Story. I was wrong. It was Beetlejuice the musical or something like that, and she got thrown out. And she flipped the fuck out. Apparently they said she was in there vaping, she was singing and being a disturbance, and she was filming it. And she got thrown out because she was being a fucking disturbance.
Finally, I can see how good you truly are. Something's over there. Maybe we should have a look.
Need more time. I'm still waiting.
Finally.
Not ready yet. I'm still waiting. Not ready yet. Need more time.
Yeah, they're not that bad on their own, but when you got like 50,000 of them, you know, trying to jump up your fucking asshole, it's like it kind of slows you down a little bit. But yeah, she got thrown out, and she was out with her. She's still married, and she was out with a boyfriend. And I'm sorry, and you know, you can disagree with me if you want, but if you are pretending to be part of the moral majority, and your fucking son's trying, again, I don't have a problem with it, you know, morally, but I'm just saying logically, if you are the party that is quoting moral majority and all this other, you need to basically live it. You know, I can't think of it was an openly gay Republican, Barney Fife, I think, or something like that. He made the comment the one time that he always made it a policy not to break the laws he voted on or something, because he was talking about I can't remember which Republican it was, but they violated a law that they had passed, that helped pass. I think they were like a co-sponsor. They at least voted for it. And when they were talking to him, he was like, you know, I always made it a point never to break a law that I voted on, you know, for the hypocrisy of it. But I'm sorry, you know, you're out there, and, you know, the GOP has basically become the party of do as I say, not as I do. You know, and she was dressed up. Usually you see her in t-shirts and jeans and all that, and she was not wearing an elegant gown. I think because I think she's got fake boobs. If she hadn't got the fake boobs, that dress would have looked fine on her. But, and again, I'm not trying to be mean, but when I saw the dress, she looked like a sleazy prostitute in a fucking bad movie. You know, like when you watch Pretty Woman and Julia Roberts was playing when she got the money, they had her dressing up nice. She looked okay ahead of time. She did. But, you know, this one here, it looked like the dress didn't fit her. You know, it really looked, I mean, it looked like a bad character in a really shitty, sleazy movie. So I kind of, because again, she wasn't with her husband, and you know, and a lot of times those sex workers, they call their client their boyfriend. You know, Saturday Night Live did a skit on that where they were advertising a dating site, and the one guy, he goes, "Oh yeah, you know, I use the date." I think it was Saturday Night Live. I don't think it was. It might have been Mad TV. I'm not sure. I wish that show was still on. I don't even watch Saturday Night Live most of the time. I like the show. I like some of the clips on it, but I'm not usually awake But there was this dating site, and the one guy goes, "Oh man, yeah, I scheduled a date, and she dated the shit out of me for 3 hours, And see, I mean, I think it's legit because it sounds like she was an escort before she got into Congress, or maybe before she got married. She's having problems with her husband. She's had money problems over and over again.
Need more time.
And but there was money she was misappropriating from the campaign, that kind of thing, and so you really gotta ask, it's like, look, I don't think it's unreasonable, and I think it's still funny to ask that. I mean, she looked like a fucking bad character in a fucking adult comic book. Again, I'm not trying to be sleazy to anybody at all, but all things considered, and I think the world would get better if Republicans had to start living in the world they created for Democrats. I firmly believe that, as long as you keep giving them a pass on this, 'cause I'm sorry, look at what's going on with Hunter Biden. Look at what's going on with there's a Democrat running, I think it's down in Virginia, I'm not entirely sure, it's down there by DC, but there's a Democrat running, and it's usually a Republican state, and she's got a good chance of winning. Well, they're fucking just making shit up, saying that her and her husband were shooting sex scenes for a porn site, something like that. And they do the same thing. There was a California girl, really progressive. I mean, she was good. She was like the role model for progressive. And they made fun of her, like she had a husband who was probably not a real good guy, and I think they did threesomes, and it sounded like it was something she went along with it because she wanted to make her husband happy. And they after she got in and started getting shit done, well then suddenly she started getting smeared for her side hustle with her husband, and it's like, it's wrong. And if that shit's fair, I'm sorry. If that's fair game for Democrats, then it's fair game for Republicans. But, like the shit that's going on with that one, I think they're making the whole thing up. But I'm sorry, this is just wrong. I'm tired of watching these Republicans win.
Not ready yet.
Because you got these, and I don't know if the guy was a Russian troll or a fucking far left dipshit. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know if this was one of those guys, again, he could have been a Russian troll, and he could have been one of these guys that's out there thinking that, oh, we need to defund the military, and we can pray hurricanes away, and all this other stupid shit. And, and it might even be this girl that posted a thing on healthcare, but I think it was her. When she got into office, she was listening to this shit coming out of the woke left, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't see woke as a bad word, but just like there's people that shouldn't call themselves conservatives, there's people that shouldn't call themselves woke, and these were people on the far left that were talking about defunding the police before the Republicans adopted it. They were talking about defunding the police and all this other fucking crazy shit. And she came out at one of their little Democratic meetings, and she told them, she goes, hey, we could have picked up more seats. We've got the data now. We could have picked up more seats on the left. But this talk of defunding the police just did not go over well. Outside, outside of the drug-fueled far left, drug addicts don't make a reliable voter base. And and she was like, hey, if we don't get a handle on this shit, we're gonna get tore up in the midterms. And sure enough, they lost some seats. And the only reason they might get them back is because the Republicans are just completely fucking things up. But my God, this guy here, I just told him, I go, look, I wasn't trying, because he's like, oh, she's a fascist. That should be enough. We don't need to slut shame anybody. I go, I'm not trying to shame anybody. I'm asking a legitimate question. I go, is she doing escort work again? I go, with her history, that's a valid question. The marital problems they have and her history makes that a valid question. The money problem she's had, because they kind of clamped down because she was taking money from her campaign and paying for shit that she absolutely shouldn't have, like for the restaurant that ended up closing anyways. She doesn't have the restaurant anymore. These are all legitimate questions. Aside from the fact that I think it was a little funny, these are legitimate questions. And then today I saw one where somebody, I'm sorry, I find this shit funny. Somebody put up a meme, and it was Donald Trump, and they had somebody asking him the question. I didn't recognize the person, but they go, Mr. President, or President Trump, do you prefer boxers or do you wear boxers or briefs? And his answer was depends. And I gotta be completely honest with you. That person that fucking went after me for slut shaming, and I don't know what to tell you. To me, that would be like somebody going, "Oh my God, you're an ageist. You're making fun of people because of their age and their fucking problems. I can't believe he's an asshole. We don't need to make fun of." It's like, I'm sorry. Save that for your fucking pro-left, whatever the fuck, support group for the next time your candidate that you put up, your fucking uber far left candidate loses. Save it for the support group when you sit around and cry because you can't figure out why these fucking lunatics on the far left can't get elected. There's people on the far left, they want the left-leaning version of the Tea Party. They want to elect a bunch of stupid fucking people that are not going to be able to govern. I'm sorry, we need to tamp that shit down. But I didn't get any comments back. The guy might have blocked me, and I'm glad if he did. But I'm sorry. I'm tired of living in this perfect world while people I admire, people I see that are good, are getting shit on by fucking cult members on the right. I don't fucking get it. And
I need to go back.
And that one girl, Democrat, there's something I've never heard of it. I gotta be completely honest, but it's supposedly gonna help people. And for all I know, this might be why my brother's going through bullshit, because it sounds like some of it was because during the pandemic they weren't forcing people to renew their free health care, and now that the pandemic is officially over, they started that up again. But she was talking about they're trying to get some program renewed, meaning it's run out, and it provides health care to people. So I'm wondering if that gets renewed, would he be able to start getting the rides to his appointments again? And I think they picked him up today. He's last 2-3 days have been, right back to where he was. And, I told him, I go, when you get back today, you should feel a lot better. He said, oh, I don't know about that. And I go, Jazz, everything you're going through, everything real that you're going through is because you haven't done your dialysis. It's been a week. And I go, that toxins are building up in your blood, and, it is what it is. And so it should, and it is what it is. But once he gets all caught up, he should be a lot better, I hope. And what time is it? I don't even know. Hang on. Okay, it's after 10 o'clock. The cats are gonna, they're gonna, and they're having. I think Pat just came in briefly, but maybe it was around 10 o'clock. I am going to go ahead and just call it. Like I said, I was almost dying here. I will run through this again. I might even do it. I might even wait until I get up to level 5. I might try and get up to level 55 off screen, but me talking is distracting me, and I'm okay with that. I'm trying to do a good stream for you guys, but I don't want to lose this hardcore character. And I almost lost. I flashed red a couple times. I don't want to lose him fighting Belial or the Thuggish, the Enraged, because the werewolves or whatever they were, they came close to killing me a couple times. So I'll come back tomorrow, because I gained 2 levels today, but I'll come back tomorrow. I'll try and level this up again. If I keep feeling the way I am, I'm gonna come back and do a Minecraft stream. I'm trying to find something to talk about. I'm not entirely sure. I might talk about remote viewing. I can talk a little bit off of that off the top of my head. I can look up a few things, and I might do that, or I'll find something else to talk about. There ain't a whole lot going on just yet. Peace out, and I hope everybody has a good day.